Hunters not the only ones hitting the road today. Others getting a start on their Thanksgiving holiday travel. It's expected to be another record-setting year. In a First Alert update, Samantha Cavalli joining us live in Grand Chute with what officials are predicting. Samantha.
Cami, with Thanksgiving just under a week away, many travelers are getting ready for the holiday season and hitting the roads. And a new nonstop flight could change the holiday traveling in the future. AAA says this year's National Thanksgiving travel forecast is projected to be the third highest since they began tracking holiday travel in 2000, with an increase of 2.3% from last year.
We are, back to, kind of the normal range that we were seeing before the pandemic. And so that does really show that's in terms of the effect on travel, really in the rear view mirror, and people are really getting back to their normal travel patterns.
In Wisconsin, it's also expected to be the third highest, with 1.1 million Wisconsinites traveling 50 miles or more over the Thanksgiving holiday. That's a 2.4% increase from last year. AAA also reports air travel this holiday season in Wisconsin is expected to be about 8% higher compared to 2022. AAA's Director of Public Affairs, Nick Jarmez, says one of those factors is Wisconsin adding more direct flights, making air travel more attractive. With that in mind, Appleton International Airport and Allegiant Air announced Friday new nonstop flights from Appleton to New York. Airport Director Abe Weber says this is the first time they have ever connected the region to New York or even the Northeast.
So we think we're going to be able to capture a lot of those people now on these nonstop flights. Now it's operating May 17th. It's going to be on Mondays and Fridays, so it's a great schedule for a week-long vacation or just a long weekend.
Weber says they're seeing a record year in 2023 as well this holiday season, with the number of air travelers up 19%. With gun deer season opening Saturday, even hunters are getting in on the action.
Yeah, I'd say earlier the better. So, well, last time I was up there, it wasn't too bad, so I'm hoping it's the same today. So.
Americans love to travel, especially around the holidays. They want to travel and see family and friends. And if they have the means to do so and they feel comfortable spending the money necessary to do so, we know they're going to.
Well, the busiest travel times during the Thanksgiving holiday are the Wednesday before and the Monday after the holiday weekend. Jarmez says that in order to help get you to your destination on time this holiday weekend, make sure to avoid those prime dates and times so that you can get there. Reporting live in Grand Chute, Samantha Cavalli, Action 2 News.